Welcome back. So the last time that you guys saw me, I gave you kind of like a whole release. I told you about everything that's been going on with me, with being diagnosed with achalasia and the process of surgery and just leading up to it and everything that had been going on in between and just lessons learned and everything. So this video is just going to be updating you on everything that's been going on since then, within like the past year or so, and just how I basically learned that healing is something that doesn't take place just in a operating room. You think that it's done there, you think that everything is going to be moving forward and everything's going to be perfect and dandy, and not to say everything didn't get better, but it seemed like when one thing stopped, something else started, and it just seemed like it was one thing after the next. But what I can say is that through it all, it was not easy, but God helped me through it. And it was three major things that I dealt with that really just tested me on a whole nother level. It really did. But like I say, literally in all these videos that I made, well, all these videos, hasn't been a lot, it's been only a couple of them, but in these videos that I've made, he has, in every time that something has come to try to block me or to try to cause some type of issue, it's a lesson in it. It is. So these are the three things that I have dealt with, but the lessons that I've learned in them, and they helped me, so hopefully they will help you. So let's fast forward a little bit. So the last time we talked, I just got the surgery, and I think it was like a month or so or two after the surgery had happened, and basically I was telling you guys how certain foods I got to introduce back and how everything had been going so much better. So after that, yes, things got better, but it was just a whole nother ball game of now learning what foods I was able to eat. Because before, when you go from eating everything to literally going to just smoothies and soups and broth and Gatorade, to having surgery, to like introducing things back in, it was like, I think I started off with the very first meal that I had ate, like real meal, was spaghetti. I had spaghetti, and I think I had it with meatballs, which was a no-go because I hadn't even been eating meat before that. But I was eating meat, but then I stopped right before the surgery, and then I brought it back in. But it was basically a whole process of me learning new things to eat. The doctors had given me a list of like, okay, you should be able to eat these certain foods and these certain foods, and I learned that every person is different. When you have achalasia, after the surgery, some people go straight back to eating exactly what they ate before, and some people just don't, and some people it's like a different process. I try to eat everything in sight, and it just sent my body into a spiral. I became addicted to 7-Eleven brownies, y'all. It was crazy. I started eating brownies just about every day. I started eating meat again, and like a lot of it, and I started eating just chips. And first of all, my weight was going back and forth. It was going up and down, and then I started having issues with waking up and feeling like basically somebody had took like a 10-pound weight and put it on my chest. It's basically like the food was going down, but number one, I wasn't watching how fast I was eating. I was just stuffing everything in, which was causing it to kind of like take longer to go down. And then after that, when I did try to like consume that, watch that, I started noticing that the doctor told me basically that the food was sticking to the side of my esophagus. So basically, when food starts to stick to the inside of your esophagus, number one, just the thought of that is like a no bueno, but it basically will stick to the sides, and then if it sits there for a while, it starts to rot, which that's even the thought of it, but it was just like a lot of back and forth, which that was one thing which I remember literally just being like, God, I went to a nutritionist. I went to so many different people that were like, okay, we'll try this. Watch it. No, I just had to learn it. I remember God telling me one time, like, no, we're going to figure this out together. I know the doctors are telling you this is not working. I know that you're thinking, let's screw it all and eat everything. That's not working. So we're just gonna have to do this together. So it was literally a lot of trial and error of trying things, either having it get stuck a little bit, or taking longer to get down, or it was me trying something and really not realizing that it was acidic and having really bad burning, like heartburn, because when the surgery they open up your esophagus, but they do this procedure afterwards to kind of like keep the acid from coming back up, but it still does come up sometimes. So that was a whole different thing. But yeah, it was a process. That was the first thing. Second thing would be mental. So anytime you are, I feel like whether you're diagnosed with something physically, whatever it may be that you're going through, you would think that after surgery, when you're like, okay, I'm good, everything's fine, but when you start to notice that everything isn't all the way fine, or that there's something else that's coming up, or it's all these little things that you're like, I thought that was taken care of a few months ago. I thought it was taken care of in the hospital room. I thought that all of my troubles and everything was going to be literally left there, and it all comes up. It starts to play with your mind, or that's when the enemy, he literally tries to he will find any opportunity to make you think that it's not gone. Or, oh my gosh, you think that you're really healed? No, you're not healed. Or you think that that was done with? Oh, here's something else. And I started having issues with anxiety. When I would, like, even after making my first video, it was so many people that, of course, like, reached out and was like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy that you made this video. Like, how are you eating? How are things going? And which was great, but whenever I would be out in a social setting and I would have to eat in front of other people, I can't even explain it. I would just get like really like antsy, or I would think, oh my God, everybody knows. They're wondering how I'm gonna eat this. It was so the enemy, but I would, like, the thing is, it would cause me to have flare-ups, or these things that would happen. Like, sometimes I would eat, and whenever I would start getting anxiety, it literally felt like my throat was closing up, and I would try to like swallow, and then I would start coughing, and I'm not spared all the details, but it just would, like, next thing you know, I would be like halfway through a meal, or not even halfway, depending on when it started to flare up, and I'll be like, I can't finish this meal, I can't finish it. I would have to literally excuse myself, or try to find an excuse to leave so that I could finish it somewhere else, or just not finish at all. It was times that it got to the point where I didn't like being, I'm the person that, like, I have this channel, I have the blog, and I'm really a sociable person. I like being around other people, I like having fun, but when you start to like have these just moments where you're like, oh my God, this is happening, or this person thinks this, or it's literally just the enemy causing you to create things in your mind that probably don't even exist. You know, just thinking, oh my God, there's something rotting in my throat. Oh my gosh, why is this not done? And it would be days that I just didn't even want to leave the house. It would be times that I would be in social settings and I would just have to like excuse myself just to like go and breathe, because I felt like I was having a panic attack. And it was something that taught me that you just, even in all these videos that I'm making, well, not all these videos, this is the second one, but even in this whole process, I feel like whenever one thing ends, it may seem like there's something else, that whether it's mental or whether it's really is something physical that tries to block you or come your way. The one thing that I've learned is that it causes you to go deeper in God, deeper in your faith. Even when you don't even think that there's that much faith left. During that time, I literally had to throw myself into the word. I had to throw myself into, I started making like little scriptures and keeping them up on my desk, and I started putting things in my notes section. And it would be days that literally, it would be times that I would be in a social setting and out with just like a group of friends, and I can feel myself just kind of like getting, what's the word for it? Just like anxiety, not even really anxiety, but just like a fear of like, oh my gosh, there's something in my chest, or oh my gosh, we have to go, we're getting ready to go out to eat. What if we go to this restaurant and there's nothing there that I can eat? What if I try to eat and it gets stuck? Or what if I start coughing? Or what if I start having an episode, and it will cause so much like anxiety that I would literally like go and I would go into a bathroom, and I would go into a sauna. I literally would just be like, God, you haven't given me the spirit of fear, but of power. No, I would literally have to like say these things to myself. I would literally have to pray. I would literally have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it literally just taught me that you have to rely on him right now. So even if you're watching this video and you may be going through, if you're in a hospital, or whether it's something that you have been told that you have, and it seems like it's causing you anxiety or whatever it may be, what helped me and gave me peace, because even in those situations where I had to like remove myself from a situation, or even when I literally did not want to leave the house, it was days that I would just stay at home, and I knew that I had things and obligations that I was supposed to go to, and I just couldn't bring myself to get up. I couldn't bring myself to just try, because I was like, I just don't want to do this right now. And it was literally the word of God. It was literally those scriptures. It was literally me saying it over and over in my mind until it clicked. Not even just clicked, but I felt like it was like a peace that came over me. Just like in the last video when I was talking about right before I went to the surgery, and it was a moment where I was like, oh my God, is this really happening? And I remember just feeling like a peace, like literally kind of like a blanket that overcame, that it was just kind of like, I got you. It's going to be okay. And it would be times that I felt like my mounting anxiety and fear and worry and doubt, and just like, is it even worth it? Like, he never allowed me to get to a point where I just completely he would give me, how can I say it? Like, he would give me a moment to kind of like wallow in that, but then immediately something would snap me back up. It would be literally, I go, you guys may know, I go to a church called the Rock Church Manhattan, and I teach a Bible study, and it's these women that I literally help lead. It would be the moments that I literally didn't want to get out of bed, that I literally wanted to wallow in myself, that someone would call and have an issue, or I'm needed to go do something, and I'm like, I don't want to leave. But it wasn't about me. It's like, I think God allowed those things to happen to know that I know that you want to have a moment. I know that you think that this is the end, but there's someone else that needs you right now. There's someone else that's depending on you right now. And I had to put myself to the side. And it's like, it was certain times that I'm like, no, they don't understand what I'm going through right now. And I would try to like, and literally I would feel this conviction like, no, I literally love these women. I want to make sure that they're okay. I want to make sure that I'm there for them. And I would like get up, and it's like the times that I literally didn't want to be around people, like literally physically people, is when they would come the closest, or when they would be like, oh, let's go hang out, or let's go do this. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to be around people. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go in a social setting. I don't want to have to go eat anything. I don't want to have to go to a dinner. I don't want to have to figure out what's on the menu that I can actually eat, and hope that I don't like feel nauseous afterwards, or that doesn't feel like something on my throat, or not feel like I want to go throw up afterwards, which that was even something else. With me trying to figure out everything, and anxiety, like my weight was going back and forth and up and down. And it's when you go from being like, not like before I was like super big, but I was a little bit more on the chunkier side, to like, oh, okay, tummy, and then starts then gaining it back. When I wasn't back to the size that I was before, but then you start to see like kind of weight come on, and you're like, oh, that's not as skinny as it was before. Oh, that's not really the way and I never even knew that. I knew that I never knew that it was such an issue until I would eat certain things and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm so huge. Oh my God, I don't like the way I look. Oh my God, I complained when I was bigger. Then I lost the weight. Then I complained that I couldn't fit into anything because I was too small and I felt like I looked like a rail. And then when I started to gain it back, I feel like I'm too big, and all these things that come up in your mind about your weight, about your mental. But God, he gave me an assurance. He gave me an assurance that even though I didn't feel beautiful, even though I didn't feel like he was there with me, he showed me he was there with me. And he showed me that through just this sense of, I can't even put it, I feel like even if trying to explain it in this video, I can't even put it into words. It was just literally the times where I would put on a worship song and just worship, and I would just feel him there. And it would be those times where I'm literally just like, God, I need you to be here right now. I don't want to go do this. I don't want to eat this meal and throw it up. I don't want to feel like there's food rotting in my throat. I don't want to wake up and feel like there's something on my chest. So I'm just going to stay up and I'm going to worship it. Or instead of going to go do these things, I'm going to try to worship. I'm going to spend time with you. And I just felt like a peace. I felt like he was there, and that's what kept me going. Because there's going to be days that you don't want to do it. There's going to be times that you don't feel like it's even worth it. But in those times, I promise you, if you go deeper in him, if you spend time, go in his word, find words that combat what you're going through. When you feel like it's not possible, then you declare that God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all you could even hope or imagine. And those times where you feel like you don't even, there's no way that this can be reversed, because even though the doctor is saying that it's fine and you're going to get better, or you're going to figure this out, then remembering that all things work to the good of those who love God and those that are called according to his purpose. Romans 8:28, that's literally like my favorite verse, because I remember saying it to myself over and over and over, like, it's going to work out. It has to work out, you know. He wouldn't allow me this not to work out because he loves me. And you know, at the end of the day, it's such a simple term, but if you really think about it, he really does love us. And all of us. And so he wouldn't allow us to go through these things if it wasn't something that he was trying to get to us, if there wasn't a lesson that was going to come from it. Because in this, it really was a lesson. It was a lesson for me to go deeper in him, but it was also a lesson for me to know that I am never alone. And that even though the doctors may say certain things, or even though my body may feel like it's going a certain way, I have the power over it. We all have the power over it. You have the power to change those things. Even if it doesn't feel like it's changing in that moment, it may be things changing that you don't even know that's happening, and them changing in the inside, which they'll manifest afterwards physically. I'm not even today saying that everything is perfect, but it's been a process. It's a lot better. I figured out what things I figured out my eating. I've learned how to manage the mental, and I know what to do in those moments that I know the moments that I want to draw back, the moments that I want to just seclude myself from the world. I know that no, that's a lie. I know that I have the power. I know that once I go into my word, once I find those scriptures and I combat what seems to be making me not want to move forward, because at the end of the day, it's a continual moving forward. Anything that's trying to stop you from moving forward is truly the only thing I can think of is like a facade. It's like like when you're in a desert. Yeah, those things that seem like it's like something, but it's not really that, you know. That is what the enemy is going to try to do to you during this time, whether it's you're going through a sickness, whether it's whatever it may be. He causes those things to try to keep you from stopping and moving forward, because he understands that in you moving forward, you're going to truly have a victory. You're going to have that healing. You're going to have that breakthrough. You're going to have all those things that you truly are believing in God for. So he's literally scared, and he's trying to stop you from it. But just keep moving forward. Seriously, that is what I truly can take away from a lot of this, all of this. is to keep moving forward. That is the second, that's a long second thing, but the third thing that I dealt with that was kind of the last but kind of rounded everything out was just truly understanding and knowing that I was healed, and that actually am healed, continuing to be healed, because I think that even though you go through the surgery and you go through the mental and you have this revelation of, oh, I'm healed and God is already taken care of, it's already done, the doctors, because even after the surgery and all the procedure and everything, a year, literally almost a year to the day after the surgery, I ended up having to get another procedure because they found out that the bottom part of my esophagus, like, it was one portion that didn't get completely opened, because most patients don't need it to be open, but and they don't want to take the risk of certain complications that could come from them cutting the certain part. But I seem to be one of the one of the patients that needed to have it done, so I ended up getting a balloon dilation, which is when they go in, and it's kind of like they stick this thing down your throat, they put a balloon at the end of it, and it basically, rather than them having to go in and manually cut it, the balloon basically forces it open. It's a less risky procedure, but in doing that, because before then I started having more issues, and they did the balloon dilation to open it back up, and since then, which has been about 2 months since I had the second procedure to open up the bottom portion, it's been a lot better, but it's just understanding that it's done, that God has already taken care of it. I think that that's something, whether you got diagnosed with something and literally you see the x-ray in front of you that says it's completely done, sometimes the enemy can still make you think, oh, it can come back again, or it's not completely done. I know that they said that, but literally it was just a process of, it's done. Even with achalasia, there is still, the doctors say that it's not something that can be cured. You can get these different procedures, but it's something that you always deal with. And even after this procedure, the doctor had told me, Christian, your esophagus, it's a high chance of it staying open, and we won't have to go back in. But it's still like these little, Liza says, Christians, that really, you had the surgery before, and the same type of issues came up, and you had to get another procedure. And I know that this thing, but I think it's just closing your ears to the world, period, to stop. Because I think within this, if anyone is watching this video that has achalasia, I know that it is so hard, because there isn't a lot of information out there, which is why a lot of people watched my last video and were reaching out to me and were like, please give me more information. I'm from these other countries that don't really have that many resources or knowledge on it. Or even if you're here from the United States, there's not just a lot of knowledge out there about how to overcome it. And so sometimes you think that, there's really no way to combat this. It doesn't matter if you have that or something else. If God says that you are healed, if God said that literally that Jesus went on the cross and took stripes on his back so that we can be healed, it's just, and I know that I'm saying this, and this is even me talking to myself right now, because it's literally a process of continually telling yourself that you're healed, and that it will not come back, and that it's completely and totally done. It's something that I have to say daily, and just to literally tell yourself, to remind yourself that it's done, that I'm literally mentally, that you're healed. I feel like if you can mentally tell yourself, I am healed, I am whole, I am completely and totally taken care of, you'll see it manifest, because there's so much power in your words. Just you manually speaking it, you'll start to believe it, because once you're constantly saying to yourself, you'll start to believe, yo, I really am healed. Then you'll start to see it manifest. But then just continually keeping that mindset, telling yourself God's words, rather than listening or allowing your body to try to make you think that it's something that it's not, so yeah, that is the last thing that I really just kind of learned from majority of this, is just knowing that I'm healed, and knowing that it will not come back, and that it doesn't matter if it's something that went that's been in my family before, or even in me thinking, oh, I hope that I don't affect anyone in the future, or whether, because to be honest, I don't even really want kids, but I always think, just from this, it makes me think, oh my God, if I do have kids, I wouldn't want them to have it, or, but just saying that it's done. It ends with me. It's completely done. God has it taken care of, and I'm healed. So yes, those were the main. I feel like every time I make these videos, I always have numbers. That's what helps me. I have to like number things out to keep it the process of my mind of how to like do it. But yeah, the main thing, the number one thing that I had dealt with was learning how to eat, which there have been people that have reached out to me that are like, Christian, what's your workout plan? Which people, they know before that it was because of the eating, but even afterwards wondering like, okay, what foods really am I eating that's helping me? Which my way of eating has completely changed, like literally completely. I don't eat meats at all. I don't eat dairy except for eggs. I love eggs. Which I have to really limit myself on eggs too, because sometimes that doesn't really even work with my tummy. So I don't have dairy other than the eggs, and I mostly do eat like a lot of healthier things. I do have a sweet tooth, and I do have like foods here and there, like even cookies. I have to have in moderation, just because they're dry in texture, but also because sometimes it causes like some issues, but I try to make sure I like limit that just in general. But I am gonna actually, I am gonna make a video after this of just like certain things that I eat, just for people, whether you have achalasia and you want to like, or you're overcoming it, you already have overcome it. Let's change that verbiage. Or just people that want to know just different things that I've changed into eating. I'm gonna make that in a separate video. That just gave me an idea. But yeah, my eating has completely changed, which has helped me with my health and just even maintaining a steady weight, and also working out, but I haven't been able to work out as often, but that just helps me to maintain my weight. So yeah, learning what to eat. Secondly, overcoming mental, because the enemy will try to play with your mind, but we have the complete and total power over it. And 3, just knowing and that I'm healed, and that you are healed, whether it's something that is physical or mental or emotional, whatever it may be. Declare it, literally speak it. Start there. Even if you don't have if you don't have things, seemingly don't have things around you to tell you that, start with your mouth. Declare it, and you'll start to believe it. Like, it's not going to be something that happens overnight, but just keep saying it, keep declaring it, and I promise you it helps. It really does. So yeah, that is an update on everything that's been going on, and just things that I've learned and taken away from all of this whole process. It's been about a year actually a little over a year since the last time we talked. I'm going to try to make sure I keep you guys updated on everything that's been going on, just so you can be in the loop. Also, so you can keep a sister in prayer, and I'm going to keep you guys in prayer. And please, 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 if you want to reach out via email or whatever it may be, if you have questions, feel free to ask me. If you have not already, go ahead and subscribe below, so that you can be up to date on more videos that are going to come, because I really do want to make more videos to just talk about these things, and just also offer encouragement, because I know that was what I needed the most during those times. So I want to be able to give those things to you guys. And yes, I love you guys so much. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. And until next time, I will see you then. Love y'all.